Manchester United's pre-season campaign has so far been a mixed bag of encouraging signs coupled with stark reminders of the challenges that still await. Their recent 2-2 draw with Everton in the United States served as a case in point. While the Red Devils showed their trademark fighting spirit and moments of attacking brilliance, the midfield area, specifically the display of Manuel Ugarte, exposed vulnerabilities that could well undermine the season if not addressed quickly. Manuel Ugarte approached this friendly with high expectations after his dominant performance against West Ham United in a previous pre-season clash. United fans and management alike hoped to see him build on that momentum as both a shield for the defense and a pivot to transition the play forward. Unfortunately, against Everton, Ugarte's performance was far from assured. In key moments, his decision-making faltered, and his composure was lacking. He gifted possession leading to Everton's equalizer, with his attempt to dribble out of trouble resulting in a turnover that proved costly. The mistakes compounded as the game progressed, with Ugarte losing the ball repeatedly between the restart and the 60-minute mark, a period during which Everton nearly capitalized further if not for their own inefficiencies. This lack of control and consistency in midfield is a major concern for manager Ruben Amorim, especially with the Premier League season opener against Arsenal fast approaching. Ugarte is seen as a vital piece of Amorim's tactical puzzle, tasked with protecting the back four, breaking up opposition plays, and launching counterattacks. However, his recent display suggests he may not yet be fully ready to shoulder that responsibility week in, week out. Alongside Ugarte, Casemiro, another young midfielder tasked with complementing the Uruguayan, has also struggled to impose himself so far. The pairing lacks the cohesion, resilience, and authority expected in the middle of the park from a club of Manchester United's stature. The worry is compounded by the fact that the club's experienced holding midfielder, Casemiro, is no longer operating at his physical peak, prompting questions about whether the existing midfield personnel can adequately compensate. Midfield is the engine room of any successful football team, dictating tempo, controlling possession, and providing defensive cover. At Manchester United, a lack of stability and confidence here drastically affects overall team performance. When the midfield fails to control the game, the defense becomes exposed, and the attack is starved of quality service. This scenario was visible against Everton, where despite Bruno Fernandes's creativity and leadership, the team could not establish dominance in crucial moments. The pre-season has thus underscored the urgency for recruitment in the holding midfield role. United's scouting and recruitment teams are actively exploring transfer options to bring in a player capable of providing both defensive solidity and intelligent ball distribution. There is a growing consensus within the club that augmenting the midfield with an experienced, reliable, and tactically astute figure must be the priority in the current transfer window. Several names have been linked with potential moves to Old Trafford, including established Premier League players and promising talents from other European leagues. The club's strategy appears focused not just on plugging gaps temporarily but on recruiting a player who fits Ruben Amorim's high-intensity, possession-based pressing style. This means targeting midfielders who not only excel in ball recovery but who are also comfortable progressing the ball forward quickly and accurately under pressure. Financial and regulatory considerations further complicate this transfer pursuit. Manchester United operate under strict wage budget constraints that require balancing ambitious signings with player sales. Several fringe players with high salaries, such as Alejandro Garnacho and Jadon Sancho, are under pressure to move out to free space and resources for incoming targets. The club's ability to manage these departures efficiently will directly influence how aggressively it can pursue midfield reinforcements. The timeline is critical. With less than 2 weeks before the Premier League's curtain raiser against Arsenal at Old Trafford, Ruben Amorim faces tough decisions. His team selection for the opening fixture will hinge on how he perceives the readiness and form of players like Ugarte and Manu. If no suitable midfielder arrives before the season starts, the manager may be forced to rely heavily on the current squad, potentially risking lack of balance and poorer performances. Tactically, the presence of an effective holding midfielder is integral to Amorim's system. It allows the team to press higher up the pitch confidently, knowing defensive mechanisms are supported centrally. It also frees creative players, such as Bruno Fernandes, to operate with greater freedom and less defensive responsibility. The absence of this role leads to imbalances and exploitable gaps, as seen in recent friendlies. Beyond transfers, the club's preparation and coaching staff are working intensively to improve individual and team performances. Ugarte's sporadic moments of composure reveal his potential, suggesting that with further refinement, he could still fulfill a key role. The coaching emphasis remains on improving decision-making under pressure, positional awareness, and quick transitions. Scout reports on Ugarte describe him as a naturally gifted player who combines physical strength with technical skill. Yet, the transition to Premier League football demands a level of consistency and mental toughness that can only be honed through experience and intensive support. The club's midfield area thus becomes a focal point not just for external reinforcements but for internal development. The upcoming friendly against Fiorentina provides an important opportunity for Amorim to experiment and make tactical adjustments, possibly signaling his preferred midfield structure for the season opener. Observers will watch closely to see if Ugarte or new arrivals take more commanding roles, and how well the team blends in terms of pressing and positional discipline. The broader transfer context shows United operating in a competitive marketplace. Many clubs vie for limited targets, and prices have skyrocketed due to market inflation and strategic interest across Europe. Manchester United's willingness to invest prudently yet ambitiously will greatly affect their ability to land the right midfield reinforcements. Transfer rumors suggest that the club is willing to explore various negotiations, including alternative payment structures and player exchange deals, to secure midfield targets. This reflects a pragmatic approach aiming to balance immediate tactical needs with long-term financial sustainability. Furthermore, the club's leadership appears sensitive to fan expectations for progress and the desire to signal ambition through signings. Bringing in a recognized holding midfielder would reassure supporters and potentially lift squad morale. In summary, the Manchester United vs Everton pre-season friendly illuminated imperative truths about the club's midfield status. Manuel Ugarte's inconsistent display symbolized the pressing need for reinforcement and development in midfield. With Casemiro's decline and Kobbie Mainoo's inexperience, the urgency for a stable, commanding midfielder is undeniable. Ruben Amorim's tactical approach depends heavily on midfield balance, and the club's transfer strategy is now aligned to rectify these deficiencies swiftly. The pressure to finalize a new midfielder before the Premier League's first kickoff is immense, as this signing could determine not just early season form but long-term structural success. While internal development remains crucial, the blend of new acquisitions and existing talent is essential to raising Manchester United's competitive edge. Fans can hope the coming weeks will deliver decisive moves demonstrating the club's ability to build a squad capable of challenging for the Premier League title and restoring United's historic status among European football elites. As Manchester United prepare for the vibrant challenges ahead, the midfield remains the heartbeat of their push back to glory, and Manuel Ugarte's recent trials only amplify the call for reinforcement and resilience at this crucial position.